Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to another SH Figuarts review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Elden Ring MALENIA, Blade of Miquella. I'm really hyped about this figure because I love the design for MALENIA. It's such a cool design, and they actually use soft goods for the cape. It's really nice. And it was really interesting. The release of this figure, it felt like it was never going to come out because every single time that Tamashi was at an event, it felt like this figure was just never showcased, and it was a little bit concerning because a lot of people were losing hope, myself included. I thought that they were never going to release it, but they had showcased a prototype in the past. I think it was back in 2023, or early 2024. So it had been like nearly a year and a half, I think. I may be completely wrong, but I think it was nearly a year and a half since this figure was showcased, announced, and everything, because Elden Ring being such a big hit in Game of the Year, it was bound to happen, of course. So without further ado, let's take this big gal out and see how she looks. Alright, so here we have MALENIA in all of her glory, and I gotta say, this is a freaking cool looking figure. I love the way that she looks. Although, there are a couple of things that I'm a little bit intrigued about, especially with how she was built. Granted, here is her hair and everything. It's a very long mane. I love that. The cape on her back, oh, that's very well printed. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it looks good. The quality definitely could be better, but I think it looks good for what it is. But the detail on everything that she has is phenomenal. Like the tiny chains, the little ropes that she has, beautiful. Even these are very well made. These little strands that go up like in front of her, very well done. The detail on the gold as well, phenomenal. It's one of the only figures from, here's the thing. Elden Ring does not have that many figures. I know there's Souls-like figures and everything like that. I'm not the biggest fan of Souls-like games stuff. Never played them. Probably will play Elden Ring one day, but not in my to-do list anytime soon. But it is a really nice looking figure. Now, in terms of the height, this is a very tall figure. All the way to the top of her little wings at the helmet, it goes to about 7.5 inches, which is a very, very insanely high or tall stature. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But no, she looks phenomenal, and I love it. Although I'm a little bit intrigued about the articulation, and there is something that I kind of already dislike about this figure. And it's not so much the figure itself, it's just Bandai being Bandai, because they could have done this a lot better, but they decided not to. So, and I'll get into that in just a second, but I did want to go over the articulation because, again, she has an interesting design. She has the wired cape from the looks of it. At least, hopefully, it's wired. It's wired, but it's heavy. So I don't think it's going to have that much, like, strength to it, which is unfortunate. So actually, let's take a look at that. So the cape, it's definitely wired. There's a wire in there, but I'm not too sure that it will hold its place. So I'm trying to get it to go high, but it always flops down. There should have been a wire in the middle to help it out with that. I feel like that's one issue there, which is fine. It's not the biggest deal, but again, they could have done this a lot better. It just feels like there's a really thin wire that will not hold its shape all the way around, which is unfortunate. But that's fine. That is perfectly fine by me. So everything else, let's see. For the head, she can look down about that far. I'm not entirely sure if the cape is removable. It is removable, so you can take off the peg in the back here if you wanted to. If I can. There you go. So you can remove it. So let's actually do that without the cape. Let's look at the articulation there. So with the neck, she does have a a jointed neck that does kind of look like the Vegeta necks that we've seen, where it just doesn't have enough give for the cut. But she can look down about that far. Looking up, actually not bad whatsoever. The hair is on a ball, on a hinge, which is nice. Although they definitely could have made this a little bit better. It's a little bit weird as to how it looks because of the shape of the hair. They had to cut it out and then put the hinge on there. Not really the greatest thing. So yeah, it is on. She is on a on a dumbbell joint, which is really nice. So, or a double ball joint, which is beautiful. It's a small ball joint, so she can pivot to the side, like so, and then to the other side as well, and then she can look side by side as well, pretty easily. So she has decent range of articulation for the neck, which is good. For the arms, she can get above a T-pose, I think even with the cape. Not so much on this arm over here, where she has the clasp right here, kind of just giving her a little bit of limitations there, which is unfortunate, but she can rotate the arms 360 degrees, which is really nice. This is attached to the arm as well, so it's a very loose, it's not loose, but it's pretty good in terms of how it moves and everything. This is on a hinge on the shoulder, and you can rotate it alongside the arm, which is really nice, like so. You do have a bicep swivel for both sections, which is nice. Pretty well done. There is a single jointed elbow for this arm, and there is a double jointed elbow for this arm. Now, I am not sure if this is how it's supposed to look, but they definitely missed the mark here because it's just a joint. There is no cap or nothing. I'm trying to see on the picture if there should be a cap, but the pictures do not show one. No, there is no cap. So I am unfamiliar with the actual model of the game. So if anyone is knowledgeable on that stuff, is there supposed to be like a shoulder, like an elbow cap on the armor? If not, that's fine. She also has a forearm swivel. I'm not sure if you can take off the arm, but I'm not going to try to do so. Does she have a forearm swivel here? No. But you can rotate the elbow joint. She does have a hinge that moves forward this far and this far forward for the hands, which is nice. Same for the other one. This one is a more interesting hinge because it actually is sculpted differently. So backwards this far and then forwards this far, which is about the same, which is really good. The diaphragm is a little bit interesting. So she can move forward about that far and backwards about this far. You will be able to pop out the torso, or not the torso, but the waist, unfortunately, because it is not perfectly done in my opinion. But going backwards about that far, which is good. And then this is where I kind of get a little bit annoyed with how Bandai did this. I don't understand why they did it. Well, I can kind of understand. So this piece right here is very, very soft plastic, as you can see. It's super soft, super malleable, easy to move, which is awesome. This part is not so much. But at the same time, they want you to remove the torso or the waist, get rid of this part, grab the other part that's inside of your box, place it in, because this one actually has cuts everywhere else. Like there's a simple one if you want to just have a regular one. Also, she has a nice shape for her butt. This is how she looks without the garments, which is nice. She actually does have a waist movement, which is good. Actually, I really like that. And I think the last SH Figuarts female figure that I took a look at, I hated it, which was the Seiko ISA. But this one works really well, and these are on pegs, but you could theoretically move them, I think. But I'm not going to try that. But again, if you want to have her actually move, you need to put this one in instead. And then you're just attaching it, making sure it fits. And then you just plop it in. It's not a big issue. I just think that they could have done it better. If you were going to go through all the trouble of making this for your figure, might as well just make it wired. because why not? You already made this a wire cape. Why not do the bottom piece wired as well? Would it have been a bigger issue? Probably. Bandai is not really the greatest when it comes to wired clothing, but it would have been a lot better. But alas, it's fine. Now, with this, you actually do get pretty good range in terms of the splits, which is really nice. Kicking forward, also really good. Surprisingly, you can get better than 90 degrees, which is nice. Fantastic, even. Kicking backwards, also really good. This is the best way to do it. Thank you, Bandai. You actually did something really good here. And then, for the legs, the rest of the legs, you do have a thigh swivel. Double jointed knee, which does have a hinge here, which is interesting. Like, this is a different cap. The way that they did it actually is somewhat seamless, but it does have a weird engineering here. So not so seamless, but it does work really well. And it looks great in just the aesthetic department here. Same with this one. This one actually looks a little bit better, although the plastic here is mismatched to the actual leg, unfortunately. So there is that. For the feet, she does actually have her toes out. So for those that are interested in that, you sickos. So going back this far and up this far with the toe hinge, which is really nice. So realistically, she actually has pretty decent articulation. So let me just get her head back on. And let me plop this ball joint in the back. Honestly, I really like how they did the cape. It's super lightweight, that it's not going to weigh her down anywhere. And I'm really glad that it's a soft goods instead of just everything else. Or just a plastic one, because we've seen that with the One Piece line and even the Dragon Ball line, and it sucks. So let's move on into the accessories, because that was a very long one, very long overview / articulation overview. So let's move into the accessories, because she doesn't have much, which is unfortunate, because this figure was doing really well. Alright, so the accessory department, she actually is pretty lackluster, but again, I think it is fitting for the character. So I'm not entirely sure if it is something that she should have or not. So yeah, but it looks good. It's a great looking figure. It's a very well articulated figure, especially for a female figure. Bandai doesn't have the best track record with female figures, especially as of recent, but this one actually does have pretty good stuff, or well, relatively good stuff. So of course we have the separate piece. This is the original one that she came with, the one that doesn't move. It is interesting that they did that. I think they just kind of justified it themselves by like just adding more onto the thing for the value of it. But this one, it's cut up already. It's still pretty seamless. It doesn't look that bad, even when with movement from the looks of it as well. So you're never gonna use this unless you just take her out of the box and put it in a static position, and that's it. That's all you're gonna use it for. So it's not a big deal that this was included. They should have just included the other one, but I understand why some people would want this. But at that point, again, for the price point, just make a soft goods skirt. We do have the giant sword that has the engravings on it. Very nicely done. The paint job is actually pretty decent. I'm not entirely sure how good Bandai is with their gold paint. Just be careful in terms of like the bleeding and everything. It is fully attached to the hand, so this is something that you cannot remove. Just letting you know, just in case it breaks, because it is a very thin blade. It will break if you put too much pressure on it. For the other hand, well, hands, we do have kind of like a closed fist. I don't think it's supposed to be a fist. I think this is where she gives you something. I'm not entirely sure, but nothing is included. And of course, there is an extended hand for whenever she's attacking, I think. Again, I'm not entirely sure about the animations on the game or anything like that. So, going into my final thoughts, I actually really like this figure, and I honestly was very excited because she is a cool looking character. I was very excited to actually get her, and I'm happy that they actually ended up making her. But she does have her downsides. So as an overall score, I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10. And the reason for it is not because she's a bad figure. She's actually a really good figure. But the reason for it is that she's hella expensive. Right now, I'm looking at the Big Bad Toy Store like sighting or listing. It's $156, which is astronomically high. And even in Ami Ami, which is where I got her from, she was 13,000 yen, which is still insane. I don't understand why. I'm trying to figure it out. Malenia. Why the fuck is Ami Ami not working right now? Is fucking Ami Ami broken? Ami Ami's broken. But no, she. I'll try to put some prices up in the front. Or just images as to how much she is in other websites if I can. But she's very expensive, which is a big downside. That probably is because of the licensing and everything. So FromSoft or anything like, I think it's FromSoft, right? So no, it's not FromSoft. No, I'm stupid. Who makes the Souls games? From Software. It is FromSoft. Well, abbreviated, but it's a very cool looking figure. So I really like it. If you are planning on getting her, I would probably wait because she might actually go on sale. It's not like a really big first party figure. It is a big name. So yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this anymore because I've extended it way too much. But yeah, that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you like her? Do you not like her? Because I definitely do. But besides that, like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.